How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Tacko Fall is currently the tallest NBA player today. Despite not getting drafted and spending most of his time in the G League, the 7'5" center played college ball at the University of Central Florida, 6 total NBA games so far, averaged 3 and 2 for the Celtics, whereas Boban Marjanovic has been the tallest player for a couple seasons now. Before Tacko, a full-time player at 7'4", 290 for the Mavs, putting up nearly 6 and 4 in 9 minutes. The Serbian native has a teammate who's 7'3" in Kristaps Porzingis. With that said, let's take a look at 10 of the tallest players in NBA history and how good they really were. Starting at number 10, we have a 5-way tie. With 5 total players listed as 7'4", it's impossible to determine who's taller than who unless we get them all together and measure them back to back. Let's start off with Priest Lauderdale. Born in the US, listed at 7'4", 325 pounds, was selected 28th overall in the 96 draft by the Atlanta Hawks, had a 16-year playing career, mostly overseas, lasted only 2 seasons in the NBA with the Hawks and Nuggets, a total of 74 games, averaged 3.4 points, 1.9 rebounds, bounced around in Europe, the Middle East, and China, last played professionally in 2011. Of course, Boban, born in Serbia, one of the most beloved players today, undrafted in 2010, was already 6'10" at age 14, played overseas, earned all EuroLeague first team before making his NBA debut in 2015, was already 27 years old at the time with the Spurs on a 1-year $1.2 million deal, a 10-minute per game guy now with the Mavs, putting up 6 and 4 on 58% shooting on a 2-year deal worth $7 million. A very fun teammate to be around, known for being traded twice with former teammate Tobias Harris. Rick Smith, the 7'4" Dutchman out of the Netherlands, listed at 250, had a successful 12-year career, all with the Pacers, was selected by the team with the 2nd overall pick in the 88 draft, became one of the best players in franchise history, averaged almost 15 points, 6 rebounds on 51% shooting, a terrific outside shooter, and a 17 to 19 point scorer in his prime, made the All-Star team in 98, had a decent post game, very good with the pump fakes, also a key go-to scorer down the stretch, would be terrific in today's game, especially knocking down the open jumpers. Mar Eaton, also 7'4", listed at 275 pounds, had an 11-year career, all with the Utah Jazz from 82 to 93, wasn't a scorer, but an amazing shot blocker and rim protector, one of the best defensive players all time, even became an All-Star in 1989, made 5 All-Defensive teams, 3 first-team All-Defense, and a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in 85 and 89. Eaton wasn't that good in college at UCLA and worked as an auto mechanic for 3 years. Never gave up hope, worked his tail off to make the NBA. Hakeem Olajuwon even called Eaton the toughest defender he had to deal with. Averaged 3.5 blocks for his career, led the league in rejections 4 times, had 4 different seasons of putting up over 4 blocks, and has his jersey number 53 retired. 7'4" Ralph Sampson, who could have been one of the greatest players all time if it wasn't for his injuries, listed at only 228 pounds, a 3-time Naismith College Basketball Player of the Year. The Virginia native was well ahead of his time, made an immediate impact, averaged 21 and 11 as a rookie, 2.5 blocks, was an All-Star right away, easily winning Rookie of the Year. With his size and agility, Sampson was one of the most hyped prospects coming into the draft, expected to score and dominate like Will Chamberlain and win titles like Bill Russell. After Houston drafted Hakeem Olajuwon in 84, the Twin Towers were a nightmare and made the finals in 86, known for his famous no-look game winner against the Lakers in the conference finals with a second left. Sadly, his injuries robbed him of his greatness, with knee and back injuries unable to hold up. After 87, Sampson wasn't able to play another full healthy season again, made stops with Golden State, Sacramento, and Washington, was only 31 years old when he played his final NBA game, lasted only 9 seasons. From number 9 to number 5 players tied at 7'5". We'll start off with Tacko Fall. Beloved and adored by the fans, Fall averaged 10 and 8 on 74% shooting in college, but lacked speed and agility, didn't get drafted, at a huge disadvantage in today's NBA, can't cover guys in the perimeter. In reality, I don't ever see him becoming a quality NBA player, but a bench player for a couple seasons. At least every time he's on the floor, we'll all cheer for him. Bhullar, 7'5" from Ontario, Canada, listed at 360 pounds, arguably the biggest person to ever play in the NBA, has a 9'9" standing reach. The heaviest player on this list lasted only 3 games in the NBA in the 2014-15 season. The first ever player of Indian descent to ever play in the league, played college ball for New Mexico State, spent most of his time in the G League and overseas, one of the most forgotten players in Kings history. Bhullar also has a younger brother who's 7'2", Pavel Podkolzin, another 7'5" center who only played a couple games in the NBA. Out of Russia, was the 21st pick in the 2004 draft. Selected by the Utah Jazz, played 6 total games with Dallas, averaged under a point, made a combined $2.8 million in the league, was viewed as a high draft pick due to his size, strength, and shot blocking ability. Still only 35 years old today, spent his career overseas since. Slavko Reigns, who played only 1 game in the NBA with the Portland Trail Blazers, which still counts after signing a 10-day contract, 3 total finals, lasted 3 minutes on 1 missed shot attempt. The 7'5", 275-pound center was the 39th overall pick in the 03 draft, a waste of a pick by the New York Knicks, where it was Isaiah Thomas's first official move as Knicks GM. Reigns played overseas, a member of the Montenegro national team. Notable guys selected after him were Willie Green, Zaza Pachulia, Kyle Korver, and Mo Williams, to name a few. Chuck Nevitt, but listed as only 217 pounds in Basketball Reference. Born in Cortez, Colorado, Nevitt's the tallest NBA champion in history, winning his ring as a member of the Showtime Lakers in 1985. Played 9 total seasons in the NBA, but only 155 total games, went back and forth overseas, averaged just 1.6 points, 1.5 rebounds on 44% shooting, never started, bounced around with the Rockets, Lakers, Pistons, Bulls, and Spurs, played a combined total 826 minutes, less than 18 full NBA games, played 16 playoff games across 5 postseasons, also played 4 years at NC State, averaged 3 points a game in college in 90 games. Pretty remarkable he made the NBA after posting those numbers. Tied with number 4 and number 3 at 7'6", let's go with the better one first. Yao Ming, weighing 310 pounds, transcended the game of basketball globally and will always go down as one of the most impactful basketball players we have ever seen. Was a prodigy in his early days in China, played for the Shanghai Sharks from 97 to 02, was easily the first overall pick, made an immediate impact, becoming the leading all-star vote-getter, became an 8-time all-star in 8 total seasons, had an unstoppable post-game with nice moves, a terrific interior anchor and passer, and a solid mid-range shooter. Yao was battered by injuries starting his 4th season, posted career numbers of 19 points, over 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, made 5 All-NBA teams, averaged 25 a game in 06-07, a terrific free throw shooter as well, over 83%, an NBA Hall of Famer, and one of the best centers in the league in his prime. Shawn Bradley, also 7'6", not as good as Yao, played 11 seasons in the NBA from 93 to 05, listed at 235 pounds, born in Germany. Bradley played his college ball at BYU, was a pretty decent player for much of his career, much better than what people give him credit for. As the 2nd overall pick in the 93 draft, Bradley averaged 8.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, 2.5 block shots for his career, led the leagues in blocks once, played with the Sixers, Nets, and Mavs, will unfortunately get a bad reputation, known for getting dunked on by multiple players throughout his career. Bradley will always be the victim standing in the paint. Despite never fully living up to his hype, he wasn't really good on offense, but great on D, which was why he got dunked on a lot of times. Wasn't that great of an athlete, and never gained that much weight until after retirement. After getting posterized by Tracy McGrady, Bradley would retire after that season. Number 2, Manute Bol, who passed away on June 19, 2010, listed at 47 years old. Born in South Sudan, the 7'7" giant was listed as only 200 pounds coming into the league. Played ball at the Division II school, University of Bridgeport, wasn't any good offensively, struggled to gain weight, but one of the best shot blockers we have ever seen. Similar to Eaton, Bo averaged more blocks than points for his career. Only shot 41% from the field, 56% from the line, led the league in rejections twice, averaged 5 blocks as a rookie, made all defensive second team. Opponents dodged twice before driving into the paint. With an 8-foot arm span, Bo even blocked 5 straight shots in one play. Spent time with the Bullets, 76ers, Warriors, and Heat. Was measured at 7'6" and 3/4 inches by Guinness World Records. Played 10 seasons in the NBA. Even made 43 3-pointers for his career. Can hit the long ball a little bit. One of the first bigs to make the deep shots. Bo wasn't close to an all-star by any means. There's also conspiracies that Bo might have been 50 years old when he was playing. Had no idea of his age coming into the US. Nobody knows for sure how old he really was. His son Bol, 7'2", now with the Denver Nuggets, still out with a foot injury. This was a picture taken in 2008, 2 years before his passing. Supposedly, he was 45 then, but does he really look 45 in this photo? Your thoughts? Number 1, Gheorghe Mureşan, 7'7", 303 pounds, born in Romania, selected by the Washington Bullets with the 30th pick in the '93 draft. Mureşan averaged over 10 and 6 his first 3 seasons as a starter, won Most Improved Player of the Year his 3rd season, averaged 14.5 points, almost 10 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, played with the Bullets and Nets, lasted only 6 seasons, 307 total games, had a series of back, ankle, and nerve injuries. Mureşan could have been even more dominating on the court, could have averaged around 20 and 12 in his prime with the potential and skill set there, but being super tall took a toll on his body. Mureşan eventually retired from the NBA in 2000 at age 29. On March 11 of 2007, Mureşan played a game for the Maryland Nighthawks as part of the tallest lineup in the history of the game. Sun Mingming from China, at 7'9", was taller than Mureşan. The only game somebody else was taller than him. Now an ambassador for the Washington Wizards. All in all, many of the tallest players in the NBA didn't have long careers, with Sampson, Yao, and Mureşan slowed down by injuries in their mid-20s. Shawn Bradley, Rick Smith, and Mark Eaton had pretty long productive careers. All were able to play over 800 games, while some of the other super tall players played only a few games. Even if you're very tall, it doesn't guarantee you'll be good in the NBA. Other notable players who fell short of 7'4", 7'3" Arvydas Sabonis, father of Domantas Sabonis. Hasheem Thabeet, who failed badly in the NBA, was the 2nd overall pick in the '09 draft. 7'3" Zydrunas Ilgauskas, a 2-time All-Star, and a couple others as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Who's your favorite NBA player all time over 7'3"? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.